up there and she's gonna... Thank you very much for your time today. My name is George Matthew Linkert IV. I live at 5017 Avon Drive. And I want to start out with just saying that I appreciate this time very much. And I do want this to be just more than, a 20-minute discussion. I would, I have a lot of ideas. And I'll talk about a couple of them here. But I want this to be an open discussion, and I would like open minds and open hearts to what I'm talking about. I'm not coming here with an agenda except just to make the city better, which I know all of you guys are too, and I would appreciate, again, having an open mind as I talk about this stuff. I have gotten really into local issues a couple years ago, and with all these ideas going through my head, I wanted to start something more than just reading about it. And so I started A Place in Mound. It's mostly a website, which you can find at www.aplaceinmound.com. And it's mostly me writing and posting pictures and having comments. And I really love Mound, and I think there's a lot of great things happening here. And I try to emphasize a lot of those on the website. And I want it to be more than just a website. I'm having people sign up and join A Place in Mound, and I've got about a dozen. That's not a lot, but a lot of people I've talked with have really, I know, appreciated what I've said. And as I write, oops, I hit the wrong button. As I write, there's some things that I use to guide my writing, and the things I think about are things that I want to be doable and things that I think that are affordable and realistic and are simple. Some of these are just really simple things. And the two last ones there, the one that says there are no solutions, just rational responses. I think we live in a society where we're sold pills to help us lose weight, and we're sold tools that say, oh, you have this tool, you can clean your house, and your life is going to be it's going to be honky-dory. If you buy this car, you're going to be all set. And they're like selling you a solution, and life is just a series of events that we just need to react to in a rational manner. And so I'm not offering you any solutions here. Also, we can't wait for somebody bigger to come along and fix things. We need to do things ourselves. And you know better than I do what kind of financial position our city in, as well as any other city in the United States. We need to take care of ourselves and do things that are best for Mound, and not those interests that are outside of Mound may not have our same interest. And we need to be ready to do what we need to do. So one of the things I was going to talk about, since the conversation that brought me here was about street design. Mound is about to go over their MSA streets, and for those who don't know what an MSA street is, it's a street that's funded by the state and guided basically the city is told how to build a street from the state, and the state will pay us to build these streets mostly, and as well as our county roads. And these roads and these MSA streets, they're too fast. They're not places for people, and they make us not want to be on these streets and not on these county roads. And we have really great, wide, straight roads in Mound, or these MSA streets. And they're basically inviting people to drive through Mound. And I think that's something we need to change. Because when we have nice, wide roads, then the cars go fast. And what happens when cars go fast is if there's a mistake, somebody gets hit and they die. The car's going 40 miles per hour on Bartlett Boulevard where my girls cross the street to go to school, they're going to get killed. And again, this goes back to street design. This is from my friends at Strong Towns. This is a great website. I would love you to go to check that out. They have a thing called Curbside Chat, which is a booklet you can actually look at for free. Anyway, these are pictures. These are actually a highway that goes through Grand Marais, and it's Highway 61. And there are 2 speed limits here. There's 2 of these are 55 miles per hour, and 2 of these are 30 miles per hour. Now, these highways or streets, depends on what you want to call them, are the same width, total width, essentially, roughly. Big, wide shoulders, and you can't tell by just looking at the street how fast you're supposed to go. Give you a little context, help you out maybe a little bit. I know when I first look at these, I still look at these, and I'm like, how fast would I go by that Dairy Queen in number 2? That could be a road I could go down. I could see myself driving down that. If I didn't know what the speed limit was, I could go down that road 45 miles per hour. So, but the state tells us how wide to build these roads, and we're stuck. And Mound needs to fight these things. And Mound needs to say, we need to do these things differently, because street design is based, when we get street designs like this from the state, we are, again, telling people, just drive through Mound. This is not a place you want to stop. I think we need to do a lot of thinking about what attracts people, what makes Mound a destination, what makes Mound a place to drive to. And when you have these, again, these big wide roads, they have people just drive through you. This is a website called Better Block, and they will actually go to towns and help. They'll go to the worst block in a city. This is Oklahoma City, I believe. And I believe on the left side of the street here, there's storefronts there that are all closed. There's nobody has a business operating there, because this is a road where people generally drive through fast. And so businesses can't operate there because it's not a place for people. So Better Block will come into a place like this and say, well, let's try this. There's 4 lanes of traffic that are going by fast. Let's slow things down. Let's reduce a lane each way and see what happens. And they do this just temporarily. They just do it, try it for a little bit. And now you got somebody who can cross the street safely, because cars are going by slower. And cars can still get through. There's nothing wrong with driving on the street. You just need to be respectful of the place that you're driving through. This is going back to MSA Street. This is Tuxedo Boulevard. I took this picture. I have this picture here because for the summer, and I don't know why. I didn't ask why this was, but there were stop signs. This is by Allen Alves, and there were stop signs there. I imagine maybe they were there because people park across the street and they need to cross. Otherwise, Tuxedo Boulevard is a really, really fast. I'm sure you know it's a really fast street, and you do not want to be a person on this street. I don't walk at the street. I don't live near it, but I ride my bike on it occasionally, and you don't feel like you belong. Even if there's a sidewalk there, you still don't feel like you belong. This is not a safe place for families. If I lived on the street, I would not be happy. Because again, we have a street here inviting people to drive fast. And what happens when people drive fast? Well, if they get hit, you're not going to do very well if you're a person. This is showing what a driver's perspective is going from 15 miles per hour on the top picture. This is a street scene where people are here and there's parked cars. And if they're going 15 miles per hour like they are on the top picture, they can see all these things. They can see the people. They can see the buildings. They can see the cars. And then when you go down to this middle picture, going 25 miles per hour, that vision of focus of the driver starts getting narrower. They don't see the people. They don't see the businesses there. And when you get started going to 30 miles per hour through something like this, you're just looking at the cars. You're not seeing what's happening there. You're not seeing what you could maybe hit. I don't know how good this turned out. It turned out pretty good. This is from a study done in San Francisco. They looked at 3 different streets: a busy, heavy traffic street, medium, and a light traffic street. The dots on the sidewalks on the street represent places where people socially gather. And there's a person underneath each street that shows how many friends that people have that live on that street. So on the heavy street, you can see people socially gather in just a couple of very specific places. And they have, they said, well, and they averaged it out, and everybody had maybe about 1 friend that lived on that street with them. So when you go to the moderate traffic, people are still kind of grouped into certain spots, but people had more friends that lived on that street. And then on the light traffic street, all of a sudden you see all these connections. You see people out in the street, up and down on that sidewalk on that street. The other thing they asked these people who lived on this block, what do you call your home territory? It was really revealing, I think. If you lived on the heavy traffic street, you just consider your home territory your house or your apartment or your building. If you lived on the moderate traffic street, you still kind of tended to think of just your building as being your home territory. But if you look at the light traffic street, look how many people called the whole street their home territory. There's a place on that light traffic street where people value the environment they are. And I think this is also, when a city is diverting lots of traffic down the street, a city is, what kind of values are we telling somebody who lives on a heavy traffic street? What is the city telling those people that live on that block? That you don't need to value your place? So the other thing I was going to talk on was the no parking signs. This is Surfside Park. I parked here for a few minutes. And there is, as you can see, a big wide shoulder to park on. There's a sidewalk. There are great events we all know that happen at Surfside, and it's speed limit's 30 miles per hour going through here.
It's 35.
I'm sorry?
It's 35.
Is it 35? Maybe going the other way, it's 30. I could have sworn I saw 30.
That whole street is.
Okay. Well, then maybe.
That's 30. I'm sorry, that's 30 in that area. It's 35 up the hill.
So there's plenty of room to park on, and but we, as city, and back in the 80s, I think it was, decided that we didn't want cars to park here. What I was told it was because of boat trailers, which I could understand, boat trailers being kind of a nuisance, but I think that we should rediscuss this, and this would be, again, something maybe we should try allowing cars to park here and see what happens, and see what kind of place we can make Surfside Park. Because what we do now is that people can't park in the parking lots, and they can't park on the street here. They park here. This is on Bartlett Boulevard around the corner from Kirby's bait shop. Mm-hmm. And so we tell people, oh, this is a good place to park. Look how narrow those shoulders are. People can't fit their cars there, so they park in the grass. People are parking in the street. And then when you get out of your car, where are you going to walk? On the street. Now, this works. I mean, this car that's coming through here obviously has to go into the other lane, but he's going slow because he's parked. There's parked cars here. It's a different environment. Drivers know they need to slow down in situations like this. Parking the cars there by Surfside would slow down traffic too. And when we get slower traffic, we get less chance of somebody dying. And making it a more people-friendly place. The other place that we should include parking is our downtown area. When I think of downtown, I think of Commerce Boulevard, north of Auditors Road and south of County Road 15. Every other city in our area has parking on the street, and for some reason, Mound let it go. And it's a shame. Every other city is saying that it was important to include street parking on their downtowns. And we don't. And so cars, again, what we're doing when we do that is we're telling people, you don't need to stop here. Just drive through here, drive fast through here, because we don't value this place, I think is what it's saying. I think it's absurd not to have street parking on Surfside and downtown. And again, there's ways, I think, to try on-street parking in these places. This is another Better Block project in Kansas City. They just tried this for a week or two. Look at the storefronts on the side of the street. There's no businesses operating there. This was a place where people just drove through as fast as they could to get wherever they were going. But Better Block comes in here and designs places for people to hang out. They put a piano on the street. This is temporary, but I know they did a study. They collected information when they were doing this one I saw, and the realtors along those stores had a bunch of calls like, oh, I'm interested in opening business on the street. If Kansas City does something like this on a more permanent basis, I would love to have a business here. They're creating Better Block, and these sort of ideas are creating places for people. They're creating places of value. If you have places where people drive through, then they are not going to be valued. My name is George Linkert. This is my family, as you've seen. And our home territory is Mound. And we want Mound to be a better place. A place to drive to, not through. Thank you very much for your time. I can take questions if you want, or if you want me just to go away, I can do that too.
No, actually, I think we'd like to have you stay. And,